Welcome to our Rolemaster actual play session. Ain't No Place for a Hero is a campaign set in the world of Duranarki, the continent of men. A gritty, cutthroat world where politics, sorcery, religion, and commerce are all intertwined and reign supreme. Treachery and murder both come cheap, and characters need to be both smart and ruthless to survive. We hope you enjoy our story, and, as always, may the dice roll in your favor. This is episode 128 of Ain't No Place for a Hero. The party have decided to turn their attention back to Tarak Nev and the secret it may hold. We rejoin our heroes as they continue their desperate battle with the so-called twice-lived in the rancid swamps of the Ala Meng. Hello, I'm Chris, otherwise known as GM Chance, and as the word sounds green, welcome to our story. What story is that, I hear you ask? That story is Ain't No Place for a Hero. Here are our heroes, all 8 of them. It's a very large party. We have 3 players that are playing 2 characters, and all told, with 8 characters in play, it's a pretty hefty party. In a second or two, I'm going to hand over to the players of the characters that you can see on screen to introduce their character a little bit more, by way of answering a character development question, providing a little bit more insight or a little bit more understanding or a little bit more elucidation about what makes their character, their alter ego, tick. But before we do, my usual sincere, and I say this each time, but genuinely, really mean it. Thanks for the people that follow us, that subscribe, that comment, that look at the rules, that sometimes pull me, the GM, and also the players up on the rules. That's actually really helpful, and there is a particular viewer of ours, Strazko. You've done it several times, and we really do appreciate your insight, your thoughts, and your comments. So please do keep them coming. What we would say to anybody who's perhaps come across either this recording for the first time, or maybe you've watched 2 or 3 of these and you're just going to get a bit of a sense of whether or not this is either a podcast, because a lot of people do listen, or a YouTube channel that you want to follow. We really would appreciate right down here, right down there, a click from you on the button for a like, or even better, a subscribe. And in terms of a subscribe, tell your friends. If suspect that our viewers and the people that are interested in what we do may well be Rolemaster players from the past. Rolemaster is an old system dating back to the 1980s, and maybe you used to play Rolemaster a number of years back. Maybe share it with your friends. Maybe share it with the people you used to play way back in the day. We would certainly appreciate the support, and absolutely, a couple of seconds from you clicking a mouse down below really does help the channel grow and help people like you find our content. Thank you. Last comment from me before we do jump to the players to introduce their characters a little bit more is this is a particularly exciting week for us. It's October, October 16th, 2024. And it's Wednesday, as we usually play on a Wednesday. On this coming Saturday and Sunday, the players in this game are coming up to all meet in person in Auckland. So they're all converging at a location, and we're getting together for our annual in-person game, which is really exciting. We're all looking forward to it very much indeed. The reason I mention it is there is typically a bit of a lag with putting out the subsequent videos, so this could be the last video for a while. The reason being that we record 2 sessions on Saturday and we record 2 sessions on Sunday. We have a total of 4 cameras hooked up, a bunch of different microphones, etc., and it does take some time to piece that material together into a video to put out. So just as a heads up, if you are a regular viewer, normal service will be resumed soon. Well and truly, enough from the GM banging on. Let's hear from the stars of the show, and they are the stars of the show. The GM, of course, the storyteller, merely sets the scene, describes what's going on, and describes the environment. The stars, the heroes, are the faces that you see on screen, and of course, the players who make those faces tick. And tonight, we're kicking off with Pete to answer some questions. Pete, the floor's yours.
Well, thanks very much, Chris. So, for Leif, question to answer for him is, what is the most bizarre creature your character has encountered? The most bizarre, I think, would be that I can recall. Oh, no, there's a few. When the party went into the in-between, this odd space, odd dimension between the up and the down, I don't know, so odd space full of sort of mist and very odd creatures. There was the white one that was sort of a creepy, snarly one that we didn't ever encounter. We'd sort of get into blows with, which was a relief. But the one that really sticks out in Leif's mind is the Big Daddy Eldritch Horror, I believe. So there were these sort of tentacled creatures that had sort of mental abilities that were besetting us for a while, and they seemed to come in a variety of sizes, and we encountered one that was massive, absolutely massive, and sort of smashed the ruins of the place that we'd sort of hold ourselves up in. That was sort of crazy, huge and crazy. So honourable mention, though, would be the flying creature we encountered in Kropilan. Had a nest. It was way earlier in the game, so there was an honourable mention for bizarre creatures. For Mathan, I'd like to answer the question about what is the most desperate situation your character has been in. We had an incident on the road in Kropilan where these dimensional portals sort of opened, and out came a variety of sort of angelic beings and demonic beings and set about killing our party. And I think Mathan and at least one other character in the 1 or 2 rounds that they had unopposed to do that were killed. There was nothing I think we tried attacking them and there was nothing we could do. It was a very desperate situation. We were very obviously out of our depth, outmatched. Luckily, other portals opened and other demonic and angelic beings came out and fought the other ones, and they sort of drove them off, and then restored to life the characters that had died. But no, there was quite a feeling of powerlessness when there was nothing we could do. So I think that's the most desperate situation that Van has experienced anyway.
Thanks, Pete.
Can we please hand...
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Just gonna add for viewers who are kind of scratching their heads going, Kropilan? Where was that? What was that? That was a good, probably, goodness, 3 years in real time before we actually started recording these videos. So a lot has taken place in the campaign before we started recording.
Indeed. Feels like a long time ago. Can I please hand over to Giles?
Thank you very much. So today I'm playing Tarquin. And I guess the question that interests me here is, what is the most desperate situation your character has been in? So Tarquin's relatively young, like many young people, kind of thinks the world is his oyster, things are going to go his way, and in many respects has, up to the point just before he set off and he met the party, when the village enclave he lived in was raided, burnt to the ground, and mass destruction essentially followed. His village enclave fought off the attackers, but this led to really significant reprisals, and that was desperate, but made worse by the fact both Tarquin and his then best friend Simeon were blamed for this, and Tarquin saw his best friend Simeon essentially executed as a result of this, leaving him in the position where he felt he needed to abandon everything, with little idea of how to go forward. And so that was what led him into the wilds and ultimately led him to join the party as it is. And like many young people, when you have a massive event like this, it's also led him to question some of what he has assumed are unquestionable beliefs. And he's still working through those. So interesting question, Chris, and has really shaped Tarquin as a character.
Excellent.
And maybe I'll pass it over to Graham.
Right. Okay. What is the most satisfying victory your characters ever had? Well, for Neathanol, actually the games that we played was bizarre for her, never a new experience, and I guess we, as a party, weren't really expecting to win, and miraculously we actually did. Probably it was a bad idea to win, but there you go, we won anyway. And as far as well, at that point we were trying to be undercover agents, so that was good. Then we became local celebrities. It was an interesting move on our part. Nonetheless, it was good fun, and we won. So sod them.
Just for again, this was an event that happened long before we started recording. In a sentence or two, could you sum up the trials of Ely, please?
Well, yeah. There are a number of houses in the city of Ely, and once a year, I think they all get together, and they have these games, and each house sort of has sponsored some warriors that they're into groups in each. I think 6 players in each group, and it takes place in a sort of amphitheater with 2 levels and 2 sort of goals at each end, and you have to sort of race around picking up. God, what was it? Crystals? What were they? I can't even remember. Cups and buckets, I think. I can't quite remember. But run around picking up objects and bringing them back to your base, and killing each other in the meantime, or shooting each other, or whatever you want to do. Yeah, it was different. It was fun, and we really got it together and won. So that was exciting.
Nice, thank you.
Right, and turning to Etienne, what event made your character question the morality? Well, possibly getting together with his party. They're not the obvious choices. Like he knew he had to sort of, his goddess sent him and to link up with these bunch of reprobates, but he wasn't expected to be quite so, well, like reprobates. They're quite a mixed bunch, and not possibly what he's expecting for a mission from God. So that was, yeah, he kind of wondered what the hell was going on there, and plus the fact when he met them, some of them had slaves. I mean, this was just really so he really was a bit sort of, what's going on here? And in a place where, yeah, the excesses of the ruling classes were all too evident. So, yeah, he was quite confused by that, but he's sort of come right since.
Excellent.
I'll pass to Alex.
Thank you. I love Wednesdays when all of the questions are amazing and I really struggle to pick one. And this is one of those Wednesdays. So very cool. Thank you. I'm going to try and stay away from questions that end in answers either about dying or about my cat. I'm going to be brave and try and answer a question that doesn't relate to either of those 2 events. I did love the question, what did your character do the first time they encountered a dragon? I'm not going to answer that, but we recently rewatched Dungeons and Dragons, and when the pudgy dragon comes in, I was just like, oh God, what would Keros do there? I was actually thinking that during the movie. But anyway, I'm not going to answer that. I'm going to answer, who was your character's first mentor and what did they learn? So 2 parts to this question. Keros is very young and started her magic training when she was very young, and she was whisked away to a magic school, and she ended up in the Cloud Club, which was quite an elite, cliquey, gossip girly kind of club, and she definitely looked to the leader as her mentor. She has now got some maturity, some wisdom, and some depths under her belt, and her final answer is definitely Leif. She's really connected with Leif on a human level. He is everything she wants to be. He's like calm, collected, confident, kind, thoughtful, and she's just like this, like anxious, like, oh my gosh, what do people think? Do I care? No, I don't care. Yes, I do care. No, I'll do this. No, what will they think? Shall I do this? Like, she's still very much like that, although that has lessened since, she died and came back. So that's kind of cool. But definitely right here, right now, Keros would like to name Leif as her first real life mentor. Yeah, learns a lot from him and goes to him first and foremost for any issues or concerns. So yeah, love that relationship.
Excellent. Just to frame things up in terms of today is the 13th of New Year of the new year called 1787. Keros died on the 2nd of last month. So today is the 13th. And she was she was revived she was revived on the 29th. So she's been awake for about a week and not quite 2 weeks. Nearly 2 weeks.
And still ugly, but that's okay. That's okay. Keros would love to hear from Gray. Please.
Gray would love to talk to Keros. Gray's question is going to be, what is what creature's the strangest one that he's ever met? And I'd actually say probably the one from last week was pretty bizarre. Closely followed by some of the in-between creatures, but this one was particularly scary last week because not only could it like freeze him, but it also controlled him by sapping him of his blood, and there was really nothing he could do, which was quite scary and very bizarre. So yeah, that would be what Gray would say. And then for Demos, I'm going to answer about him when has he faced a difficult moral. They have to question his own morality, and I'd say actually for Demos it would probably be when he was younger. His younger sister was kidnapped in place of a princess that he had to look after, and he ended up becoming the princess's protector, and he grew very close to her, almost like another sister. And when it came to the princess getting married, he had a choice to either stay with her or find his real sister, the sister he hadn't seen for many years. And it was, I think, a very difficult choice for him to stay with the sister he'd grown to know, or find the sister he had known previously, and he had to choose. And it was very tricky, but ultimately he chose to leave and find his original sister. Yeah, that would be his little quandary.
Nice. And he has had a breakthrough with that. Interesting.
Yes.
Thank you.
Where will it take him?
Where will it take him? And maybe the rest of the party or not. Who knows?
Who knows?
So there we go. Gentle viewer and gentle listener. Whoops. Why is my Discord not being picked up there? That screen. That's strange. You can see the characters up on screen, and their names. That's who they are. Well introduced. That's who is in play tonight. Pete, can we do the usual thing, please, of handing over to you to provide a synopsis of what happened last time?
Sure thing, thank you. So our last session started with us sort of early evening, or just getting on for dark, or a bit later, all sitting on the top of a wall in the Ala Meng, the green festa. Sitting on top of this wall, trying to avoid the undead, the twice living that habitually come out at night. This was the second session with us on this wall. We started off by with Silsi, one of our guides, being hit by, and I've written my notes, the same thing as Etienne. So in the previous episode or previous session, Etienne, our fantastic paladin or genitrist, had been hit by some sort of energy sapping, some sort of arcane thing from out in the darkness, which had knocked him out. Basically, it seemed quite a vicious attack. So he's still alive, thank goodness for the death save. But so this last session started with Silsi being hit by the same thing, and then the following round, I believe Grey was targeted by this. So we were feeling a bit pressured by the artillery from out in the dark. Responding to this, M.E.R.P then put up a wood wall, as you do. You can see it there, to shelter us from those at that end, to protect us from the missile fire from out in the dark on that side. I've got then that Grey fumbled a spell. I can't remember exactly what he was trying to do. Might have been animal sleep, I'm not sure. But there was a fumble there, which I think put him out of action for a bit. And then, unfortunately, as Aidan sort of mentioned, this awful white creature with the large claws that had sort of lumbered into our view, it had been sort of waggling its head and it felt like it was preparing something, and it unleashed its attack, which, as Aidan said, was to sort of siphon blood out of Grey, which really incapacitated him and was really gruesome. So clouds of blood were streaming off him, and it was sort of reveling in them and absorbing Grey's blood. And in terms of game terms, that was 11 hits per round. That's a lot of blood. So not good. During that time, though, the following round, Kiros and Tarquin did some fantastic shooting to pick the climbers off on Nathanel's end of the wall. A couple smashed bits there. Leif had been out of action due to fright. He came back the following round. M.E.R.P and Kiros went to help Grey, and during this time, Pashket and Silsi, yes, was it Silsi or Tahoe, had been holding the weapons up and chanting, in game terms, preparing, I assume, something with their weapons. And thank goodness, when Pashket cast his spell, and I believe it was probably something like Repel Undead, he must have rolled well. It scared off Big Claw, as I call him, and he went running away. So that was a relief, because that did stop Grey from losing his 11 hits per round. Thank goodness. It also disintegrated a couple of other undead. Silsi also did his I assume it's Repel Undead spell, and he scared off what I'm calling the skinnies, the one from the other side, I believe. So some of those ones there have disappeared as well. They were sort of milling around down the bottom. And also, just at the end of the combat there, Leif and M.E.R.P, whilst Kiros was people were sort of tending to the Grey, Leif and M.E.R.P had both spotted a hooded figure about 80 foot out on the ground in the swamp, about 80 foot out there, and it was a bit different. It was a hooded figure, and had sort of glowing eyes, and they had alerted everyone else to that person, thinking that was the source of the attacks that had been hitting people, the missile fire. So I think that's where we ended.
Excellent. As per usual, Pete, great summation. Any questions from anybody else? Anything that's not clear? Anything we need to go over? quite sure why my Discord's not showing up there. Nope. Okay. Excellent. Very good indeed. Well, if we're all sitting comfortably, if we've got something tasty to eat and drink, let's start the game. Very good indeed. So yes, indeed, this is where we are going to begin, and we are going to continue into rounds. Pete, as described, well described, there are still some of these horrible things. These horrible things. At least one here, and another here. Others, shapes in the dark, you can see running off, probably just disappearing here, and just disappearing here. And yes, indeed, that large creature is belting it at pace over here. Rolling initiative. I don't think there are any changes to initiative. If anybody's parrying, I doubt anybody's parrying, but if you are, write in the chat. And we're off. Okay. The Ethanol, you're first to act.
Right. I can't remember if I was preparing from last time or not.
And I can't either, I'm sorry.
Preparing.
You're preparing? Okay.
There's still some greeblies at the bottom, isn't there?
1, 2 at least.
Yeah. So she'll be preparing. I guess she doesn't really know about I don't think she knows about the hooded man.
She doesn't.
So yeah, she'll be focusing on that lot down there.
Thank you. And that to me, that insight, for me at least, is good role playing, because your character doesn't know, the player does, but the character doesn't. So nice one. Thank you, Graham. Cool. Done. Critter moves over here and it's surveying the scene above him. Leif, you're next to act.
Sorry, he does have his bow. I do think actually Leif did call out about seeing the hooded man. Obviously not loud enough, and he is going to. Yeah, that's right. I thought he couldn't do anything last time, but he can because he had his bow rather than his sword. So he's going to step out from behind the wall and try and have it and take a shot at the hooded creature, please.
Okay.
Well, he would like to. Well, what are his chances at a shot? I mean, how much cover has it got?
When he steps out, he did see it before.
Mm-hmm.
It's no longer where it was. He'd need to make a perception roll to see if he can see anything, and then make a call from there. So your call, if you want to spend 30%. The stepping out was a matter of literally a step or so no penalty, no activity for that. Your call whether you want to make a 30% perception or more, or a 10% perception at -20.
He'd like, because his action is planning to be a missile fire 50%, so he's happy to make that perception up to 50%.
Okay, give me a roll, please.
So I mean, and he plans to step back behind the wall with make it up to 45% if you want to take action.
Okay. Yeah,
Movement out of it.
I will if he is going to do that.
Oh.
Sure.
Yep. Yes, please.
Give me a roll. Oh. 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 No calculator for the GM. 1 second. Could have sworn I brought one out. Nope.
He's excited about the weekend.
Oh. It is exciting. It's going to be cool.
So good.
And my little recap. I did forget to talk about Nathanel's whirlwinds or whatever she calls them. Sorry, Graham.
That's all right. Dust Devils.
They were Dust Devils. That's the ones because they were effective, I believe.
Pete,
Well,
give me
he knocked me off the wall.
a perception roll, please.
Leif rolled an 82.
Could be very good. It could be very bad. Who knows? All right. And what's his perception?
Here, 51.
And he's getting a plus 10 because he's spending a bit longer.
And so, if this helps, he will be searching specifically for that hooded person with their glowing eyes, and he'll be starting to check in the place he saw last and working out, but he's looking just for that person.
Right. So you just, and I mean, your success in Rolemaster static actions is 111. Leif tallied 112. So he just sees a figure disappearing off into the gloom, like moving away from you. You can see on screen. You may make a shot if you wish. It'll be a rear attack. The distance between you and Leif and whatever this is 120 foot.
120.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, he'll take the shot. That's going to be at negative 35 according to the table. But yep, he'll do it.
Cool.
He'd also like to exclaim and point.
Cool.
There it is. That sort of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That was a 17.
Okie dokie. Can you confirm his composite bow skill, please?
Yeah, not good enough. 79.
That's what I thought. Okay. You do get a rear, which is plus 35. But even with that bonus, your shot just goes wide, Leif, and the arrow just goes sailing out into the gloom.
Cool. He will use his 3 words to describe where it is, running and using the o'clock points that we've used. So it's probably exactly 12 o'clock if it's directly in front of him. Yeah. Running 12 o'clock or whatever, and then he'll step back behind the wall. Thank you.
Done. This one here shambles out. Also to here, staring up at you. Methon.
Nathan would like to do the same, please. Except she doesn't have any movement. But she would, if she's, well, I assume she's heard Leif. He was wanting to speak loud enough for people in his vicinity to flock to it.
Yep.
So yeah. So yeah.
Give me a roll. Should get a bonus for having more information.
Thank you. And she will be using 50% for her perception too.
Okay. Give me a roll.
That was a 4.
But don't forget it's mass. It could be an amazing roll, right?
Could be. Glad to get that out of the way for the to make way for the decent attack roll.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Cool. And her bonus, please.
83.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So Mithun, you aided by Leif's description. Yes, indeed. You see this figure moving not particularly quickly, but a slight, not quite jogging, but a reasonably brisk walk back through the foliage. Again, you have a rear attack.
You would like that, please?
Go for it.
Oopsies. Oh, okay, 78.
That's a good roll. 78. The range is 120. Her composite bow is, please.
113.
That's what I've got. Brilliant. Range mods -35, but it's countered by firing at this thing's back. Okay. That is a very good shot. That's a 13, 1-3, and a B critical, please. Roll the B.
Oh. 41. Did you catch that one?
I did. 4-1. Yes, I did. Thank you. Yep, 4-1. Mython's a pretty good shot with a bow. She's pretty good at judging where an arrow lands. She thinks it might have hit this thing in its leg. You do it 2 more hits, Mython. But yeah, you think it was probably a glancing shot. It just didn't feel like, if that's a good description, of a satisfactory hit.
Makes sense. Awesome. Thank you.
Done. Next up is Grey Roughwinds. Now currently stunned, but no longer bleeding at 11 hits per round. You can operate at 50% Grey.
Yeah. At the moment, he's not really going to be doing a whole lot. He'll be murmuring his thanks to Keros and everyone else around him, and I think he's going to be trying to. I don't know if he's got enough time actually, but he wants to switch his golden axe for his crossbow while he's up here, because the axe is a bit useless.
Sure. Changing weapons is a 50% action. Yeah, I'd give you that.
Cool.
You won't have a chance to load it, but you could definitely sheath the crossbow and draw. Sheath the axe and draw the crossbow. Done.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Done. Silsi. Silsi has his blade out and is chanting again to himself. Etienne, you are...
Idiot.
Yep. You might want to have a look in your channel if you haven't already.
Oh, I will. Right now, is it actable? Hang on.
Tarquin, you're next.
Okay.
I'm happy to wait if Etienne wants to act.
No, Etienne,
I'm
no, Etienne's not doing a lot.
Okay. Can I just check? Tarquin would have heard the others call out, so he knows that the hooded figure is hopping away.
He's the furthest away. Leif was here. I'd ask for a perception roll. A high perception roll would indicate unmasked. Would indicate whether or not he's heard. If you roll high, he's heard. If you haven't, it's kind of garbled or it hasn't quite reached you.
Okay. Okay, let's do a perception roll. 74. That's pretty high, Chris.
That's pretty high. Plus, what's his bonus?
So his perception's pretty good. Let me just check. Yeah, 98.
There you go. Yeah. So you've definitely heard the call from others.
Okay, so the question is, can he load and fire his composite bow in a single round? So loading it's going to take a 70% action. Oh, is it a composite bow? I think it's
So on
no,
that,
it's got a short bow. Loading it's 60%.
so on that additional sheet that I sent out, there's a breakdown of the bow load times, etc. And you can rapid fire a short bow. It depends how many times he's shot previously, and I'm sorry, I can't remember.
And he has not shot so far, so I think he can do this.
Well, no, he shot last game. He definitely did.
Yeah, so I can't tell you for sure.
Okay, we'll argue that nope, that he's good to go, but you will have a penalty to load and fire this round. It is for a short bow -15 to your attack.
So he will do that, obviously aiming for this dude who's jogging away.
Sure thing. Give me a roll.
$100, $100, $100, $100, $100. 28!
28, not 100. What is the skill with a short bow, please?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter, does it? 76.
Yeah, that's what I thought. You do get a rear attack, as the others have. The range modification is actually a -40, unfortunately for you. And there is a thunk, and your arrow goes sailing off into the gloom. I'm afraid, Etienne, it missed. Pashket is also focusing on his sword. Demos.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Oh, Demos, what to do with you? No one's really within arm's distance of a good stabbing, so he's not sure what to do. Yeah, I think he's just gonna be. I think he's just gonna have to kind of try and stay out of the way and just wait for anything to come close. He's just gonna be ready to parry in case anything swoops in from the night. He'd like to do a general perception though, if he can.
Sure thing. Give me a roll.
And he's going to go for like 70% perception and then 30% parry if he can.
Okay.
Sorry, just quickly to my little copy. 83.
83, 83.
83, yes.
And what's his perception, please?
50.
50. He spent 30 for the perception, 40, 50, 60. So another 30 on top of that. Yeah, he has a good look around. Where in particular is he looking, and what is he looking for?
Well, I think he'd be aware of the ones that are on the ground in front of them, so he's not really looking there. He's more concerned about, like, upwards, above them.
Okay.
Anything that might be swooping from above.
He can't see or hear anything from above him.
Okay. Can he smell anything?
He cannot, I'm afraid.
Nah. Next time.
Next time. Done.
Cool.
Keros.
Hello. So Gray's okay.
Yes.
Kind of.
Just getting a little bit of feedback from you there, but I think we're okay, maybe?
Is that okay?
Yes. No, good.
I think the bunnies ate a little bit of my headphone, so I'm just trying to hold it together. But your bunnies. So if Grey is okay, because obviously that is her first priority now. She's deeply in love. And she'd like to run away to her cottage with her rescue animals with Grey, but she cannot do that. So, she's aware that this hooded creature's running away or in the vicinity. She's heard that.
She's absolutely heard it from Leif. Yes, definitely.
Great, thanks, Leif. Love a mentor. Does she need to perceive, or can she just fire a shock bolt? Do you think?
She will need to have a look.
Okay, can she do a? So shock bolt, what's that? 70%, I think.
75 is
75.
Mhm.
Okay, so can she perceive for? Can she do 25, or does it have to be 10 or 30?
10 or 30.
Oh, she'll do a 10.
Yep.
Okay.
Give me a roll. It's a negative 20 for the roll. Although the bonus that you get from having insight of where the target is will offset that. Give me a roll.
Sure thing. 28.
Could be very
28.
Could be very good. Could be very bad.
Oh.
What's her perception, please?
General perception is plus 30 from memory. Let me just double check that. Yeah, plus 30.
Yeah, Keros, you're scanning. Your human eyes are peering out into the gloom. You can't see a target. There's no one out. There's no one out there as far as you're concerned.
Boo. Does she? So she doesn't pick up anything, anyone, any creature. Okay.
Nada. She hears noise. She hears the noise of things out in the foliage running away from you, but she can't see anything.
So should she save her power points, or should she just fire indiscriminately? She will save her power points, and can she assess? Is she close to Grey? Can she assess him? Or are we past that? Like, can she do the? Sorry, let me find.
Keros can assist Grey anytime.
Oh, stop! Can she do the? Where is it? Not detect illness. What's it called? When you
Diagnostics.
actually, I don't think she has that, does she?
She can always try with a negative to it.
We know what's happened to him though. He's just bled out, right?
I don't know. Do you?
Oh no. Let's do a diagnostics then,
Okay.
please.
Okay. So you change your action. You were going to. So you
Fire.
spent
Yeah.
10. So you've sacrificed 20. You can begin the diagnostics. Give me a roll, please.
Sure thing.
Do you have diagnostics as a skill?
I don't think I do. Is that on a spell list or it's a skill?
It's a skill.
Oh, okay. I've got first aid, second aid.
No.
No, none of that. No, I don't think I've got. Can I attune him? Sorry.
Diagnostics.
No, I don't.
Is
Why? That's unusual. I wonder why she doesn't have that. Because I wasn't smart when I rolled this up, probably. What I know now, I wish I knew then. No, she does not. Can she still roll? Or
absolutely. So intuition and reasoning are the two stats. So the skill is at negative 20. She is negative 25, but it's offset by intuition and reason.
25. Yep. Plus 10, so plus 35.
So divide by 2.
17.5.
Cool. So 25 minus 17. She's got a negative 8 to this roll. Give me a roll, please.
Would general perception work in this instance? Or does it have to be...
Different skill. Yeah, different.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, yep. Oh, gosh. 16.
16. It's masked, of course.
Oh, okay.
Because, again, you don't know what...
I don't know. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, sorry. I forget that bit. Sorry. I should know after 4 years, but I do forget that bit.
Yep. And it is dark, so there'll be a penalty for that.
She has love in her eyes.
There is love in her. What was the roll, please, again?
Oh, it was 16, 1-6.
Cool.
And she's singing a love song and making heart signals with her fingers. And
sure.
Does that help? Yeah.
If you like. So you start having a look at him. You really do need to spend at least 100% action on this, but you start having a poke and prod of Grey's body. He is still Grey's quite pert body. He is still, of course, standing. Grey's not unconscious. Garros, you begin kind of inspecting Grey in close detail. I don't know how that makes Grey feel, but anyway.
Is he not covered in blood?
He is. That is the end of the round. Initiative. Rolling initiative. Next. Niathanal.
Well, she'll prepare a second round.
Done.
And question PowerPoint is in the main game chat if you want to download it before it disappears.
Say again, sorry?
The chat and the question PowerPoint is in the chat for everyone to download.
Oh, brilliant. Fantastic. Thank you. Well, that's fast work. Brilliant. Leif, you're next.
Leif would like to reload his composite bow. That's a not that one. A 70% action, and he will call down the wall to Niathanal what he saw, just to say there was a figure out in the woods, a hooded figure. He thinks, I think it was the magic user, for want of a better term. It's running away. It's out of sight now. It's running away. I mean, so to try and put her in the picture, and Demos, of course. Yeah.
Cool.
And then he'll say, let's kill these skinny ones.
Cool. Next up is Grey. You've now got your crossbow in your hand, Grey.
Yeah, his mind has gone a bit blank and he can't really think of anything because he's being assessed and it's all very quite overwhelming. So he's probably just going to try. He'll just be fumbling. I think this round he's not going to do anything. He's just fumbling.
Excellent. That is good role playing. That is excellent role playing. This critter moves up, and this critter moves up, and they are making these kind of horrible, awful, nasty noises. Oh, which I don't seem to have. There we go. There are two of them down here, and they don't appear happy. Next up, Silsi is again chanting in relation to his sword. Tarquin.
Chris, so I'm going to use this partly as a learning opportunity to use a non-instantaneous spell irrespective of their rounds of prayer.
Yes.
This is going to take 75% of my action, right?
Correct.
Okay, so he's an elf. What I want to know is, in the direction that the hooded man was running, how far can he see comfortably?
Yeah. He's a half elf.
He's a half elf, that's correct.
Yep. I actually have an answer for that. Finally, finally documented it. Just one second. coming. There we go. Night vision elves on a clear visibility. Oh, I'm just hearing myself. It's strange. I'm getting a bit of an echo there. Clear visibility under a full moon. Is it a full moon tonight? That's a good question.
It's a yes.
No, I've got that documented too, of course. A full moon is... Oh, so it was a full moon...
Close.
1, 2, 3, 4 nights ago. So there's still quite a lot of moonlight. Can see up to 100 feet with a full moon. Reasonably clearly. Assuming there's not impairments in the way. There's a lot of foliage up there.
Okay, so I am... Show me where, Chris.
Show you where what?
I am.
Oh, you
And I
are?
can
Sure.
see him.
Yep.
Yep, and show me where the last time I sighted this chap is.
Somewhere around here.
Okay. How far can I see if it's the middle of the day? Sorry, you'll see why I'm asking in a
Yeah,
second.
sure. It's based on visibility in terms of light, quite a long way, but there's a lot of foliage out here.
Yep.
I don't know, quite some distance.
So this is what I'm thinking, Chris, and I might need a little bit of advice from the GM. I'm thinking of leaving 3.
Okay.
Right, this is going to jump me 300 feet. So it's going to put me 200 feet beyond the hooded man in his general direction. I'm going to be jumping into the dim, who knows what. Although clearly I know where the ground is, right? So I'm not going to jump myself into the ground, and I'm not going to jump myself into nothing. I know where he is because I saw him, and presumably we're in rounds and he hasn't moved, although I don't want to do a perception roll without checking this out with you. So the question is, as I read this spell, if it goes off, it's going to fire me 300 feet away from him. So I'll be 200 feet beyond him. It's going to plonk me somewhere. I cannot tell where it will plonk me, but it's not going to put me, it's not going to bury me in the soil and kill me. It's not going to put me 15 feet into the air. I mean, he can obviously tell where the ground is. And so what I want to know is, with the vision he has, which doesn't give him perfect vision, it just says he can cast to a point 100 feet away. There can be no intervening barriers, right? And there are no intervening barriers. Am I able, if the spell goes off, will it put me on the ground 300 feet away?
So read the full description of the spell, please.
Okay. Caster teleports up to a point up to 300 feet. So I'm reading leaving 1, but it's leaving 3. Up to 300 feet away. There can be no intervening barriers in the direct line. Right, so he's going to look. He can see 100 feet. Will avoid trees, obviously, between the target and the point. And it says, for these purposes, a barrier is anything that could not physically go through, like a closed door.
Sure. So there is no physical barrier between you and 300 feet.
Right, so what I can't do, obviously, do it and hide behind something because I can't see anything to hide behind, but presumably I can just jump 300 feet.
Except you can't see 300 feet out into the darkness. There's no way you can see 300 feet out into the darkness. So you would be estimating where you're going to jump.
That is correct. I mean, there might be a massive wall I can't see that I'll jump into, or a mountain, or I buy all of that stuff. And so what I need a judgment from you so I can decide what to do.
So there's no reference there to you needing to have a clear line of sight to your target?
No, not that I can see. It just says there needs to be no intervening barriers.
Yeah, the way this spell is typically used is knowing. So this, what's the name of the spell, please?
Well, the spell is leaving.
Yeah, leaving. Right. So leaving is a like the trainer wheels version of teleport in this game, and teleport is a much more intense spell. You need to see where you're going to land with the spell. That's the premise of the spell.
Okay, so on this list, I'm gonna.
I think.
And I'm happy to stand corrected either from you or Pete or someone who understands the game better. The reason I ask is because my premise is, so the spell list is Mind's Door, if that helps.
Yep.
So on this spell list is also Mind Door, Mind's Minor Door, Minor Long Door, sorry, and Lord Leaving and Long Door 5. All of these spells allow you to go through an object, a physical object, when you obviously cannot see where you're ending up. So my presumption is the difference between
those are more intense spells. Those are more advanced spells.
No, I totally buy that. But my premise is, well, so my understanding is not that I need to see where I'm going. It's just I've got nothing to jump through, right? I mean, if I jump 300 meters and end up in the middle of something, I'm in deep crap, right? And I suppose there might be a mountain I don't see, which is why I'm asking you, right? But it seems exceptionally likely I could pull this spell off in this situation. But if you're unhappy with it, I'll do something completely different.
What's the next spell down from that of the same type? What does it say?
Well, it's Minor Long Door, as leaving 1, which is the same as leaving 3, except the caster can pass through barriers by specifying an exact direction and distance.
No. So go down. Not go up. Go down.
That's the level 10 spell, and the level 11 spell is the same as leaving, but 500 meters.
So
the level 12 spell is longer 1. It's 100 feet, not 50.
So what level spell are you trying to cast?
This is leaving 3. It's a level 8 spell, and Tarquin's level 8. He knows the spell list.
To what level?
Level 10.
Okay.
So he can cast the spell.
He can.
But if he can't cast, he can't see this far. I totally buy that. So if you're unhappy with the fact he can't see 300 feet, I'll just do something different, which is totally fine.
Yeah. So what was the name of the spell list again, please?
Called Leaving, and this is Leaving 3.
No, the spell list.
Oh, Mind's Door.
Mind's Door, thank you. Just a second, I just want to get my head around this myself.
Cool. Yeah.
Cool. 213.
Helps Chris, and it might not. It's a little like when Tarquin was paralyzed, although he had a better line of sight then. I agree.
And the Atom has that spell list.
What's your pick, Graham?
Well, you've really got to know where you're going.
Yeah.
Okay, but I know exactly where I want to go. I just can't see it.
Correct.
Right, but I can.
So
if you have prior knowledge of where you want to go,
yeah,
that's
I do not.
Yeah. So that is the premise of the spell. That's it.
Okay.
So
Alright,
I'd love you to go out and play with this guy out in the dark. I really, 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 really would. Could think of nothing better, but I really think that is the essence of the spell. You're meant to be able to see where you're going to and go from it. You can't.
Okay. In which case, are you going to let me cast Leaving 1, which will take him 100 feet, and he can see 100 feet, so he wants to cast himself, if the spell goes off, into a point where he's completely hidden.
Yes,
So he can see that part.
you can. Well, he's a half elf, yes.
Correct?
So he can see 50 feet. So you can see up to 50 feet.
Sorry, I thought you said I could see up to 100 feet.
No.
He'll-
No, an
Yeah,
elf
he'll knock.
an elf can see up to 100 feet. A half elf can see half that amount.
Arrow on the bow. It leaves him with 40% action, but I don't think he can do it. He's gonna load and fire. So whatever he can do, but he wants not to load and snap fire with a -30. So he'll put an arrow on the string, and if he can't do anything else with his 40%, he'll use 40% to perception, and he's looking for a target to hit.
Done. Where's he looking for the target?
He's got 40% action. He should have enough action to look on both sides of the wall.
Okay. Yeah, very clearly there's one here and one here.
Really good. Well, I guess he can't do anything else. He'll need to wait for his next turn. Thanks, Chris.
Alrighty. Keros.
Hello. Yes. I think Keros is just going to keep making sure Grey's okay. She's just, I mean, obviously with his consent.
Yeah, so you started your close inspection of Grey last round. You see that he's got blood kind of seeping out of his pores. It's definitely less than it was, and he is looking a lot better than he was previously. But you can't see any visible injury on him.
Well, she'd like to double check that. I mean, obviously with his consent, she will keep exploring if there's anything, with her hands, if there's anything she can do. So she'll...
Yes. Yes.
Oh my! Oh
consent,
my!
Kevin. So she will keep running her hands over his torso and arms and face, and just keep checking in with him that he's feeling all right, and is there anything she can do? And to be honest, that's probably her round. If I'm, I'd love to fire off some shock bolts, but I think Keros would continue with just supporting Grey, really, is how she sees it.
Oh my! Okay.
It's a bit slippery. There might be some smearing, but she'll just keep going for her round, please.
Done. Keros.
Where did that drum come from?
Who knows? Next
Love
up
it.
is Demos.
Demos, what are you doing, mate? I think he's getting a bit frustrated, and I think he's going to actually try and throw one of his spears. He's going to try and spear one of these little creatures that are kind of close to him.
He does only have one spear, as a heads up.
Oh, he's only got one spear. Oh, I thought he had multiple ones. Well, he's not going to do that. He's just going to hold on to his one spear and just lovingly look at these creatures and think, I want to pierce you with a blade.
You can always go down.
No. No. He's just going to be ready. If he needs to throw it at something, he'll do it. He's going to be
Cool.
ready 100% parry.
Cool. Done. Pashket. Same. Goes through the same activity that he did previously. You'd seen him focusing on his blade, concentrating on his blade, and then Ooh. Okay. Not as got a roll. No, an 11 is not going to cut it. Yeah, that's a bit better. This one here just ceases to be. It just simply disintegrates. It goes. It vanishes. This creature here starts racing off into the gloom at pace. Its long, gangly, ugly, hideous legs moving surprisingly quickly, pumping as fast as it can, trying to get as far away from the horror, from the goodness, from whatever it is that Pashket just unleashed. Mithan, you're next.
Well, she was going to. Oh, so no, she's reloading, and I just like to say, she would give him the sort of the soldierly nod of approval, like that, just the.
Yep.
Big words from her.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, she's reloading, and she would like to, which is a 70% action, so would like to scan for another target. But we'll do a perception.
Give me a roll, please.
Yep. 12.
Could be amazing. Her bonus, please.
83.
Where in particular is she looking, and what's she looking for?
She is looking on the fire side of the wall.
Mm-hmm.
She is looking for something to shoot, like an undead. She is also wanting to listen, particularly with this, for rustling on the ground, or those things.
Things fleeing, so certainly the one that Pashket seem to affect. There's distant kind of sounds of splashing over here, but other than that, nothing else.
She might say, "I can't see more."
Okay. And that is the end of the round. And with that, we come out of rounds. And also, with that, the insects start up again.
Right. Mozzies are back. I think we prefer the undead.
Gray needs to be rubbed in insect repellent. I'm happy to volunteer for that.
Oh, have you stopped rubbing him since we started this game?
First love.
Consent.
In the next 10-15 minutes, can you talk me through, we'll go in order, Neathanol, Leif, Mithan, Keros, Demos, Tarquin, and Grey. What do you do? So starting off with Neathanol.
Well, she may as well stop preparing. I think if once she's fairly certain the coast is clear, she will go down the rope and stoke up the fire.
Okay. Cool. Great. Leif?
Leif would want to do some therapy. So he got a big. He was frightened. He had the shits get out of him for a while there. So he would want to debrief with someone who's willing to listen. Maybe Keros. Maybe she's busy. Maybe Demos.
Mm-hmm.
And he would want to he would want to go and thank or call down his thanks to Pashket and Silsi,
Mm-hmm.
and he would want to do a general call to make sure everyone is okay.
Okay. Cool. So we'll play all of this out. Mithan, intentions for the next 5, 10, 15 minutes?
She is happy to dispel that wood wall.
Okay.
She will offer healing to anyone who would like it. And she would want to, just continue to be on watch.
Cool. Done. Keros?
Definitely wants to do whatever Gray wants to do, whatever support he needs. Does he need washing off, for example? She could help with that. If Leif would like to debrief, she'd be in for a debrief because she's definitely feeling the feelings. But
Okay.
I mean, obviously also debrief about the critters, but she'd love to have a catch up with Leif as well.
Okay, cool. Next little while for Demos.
Demos is happy to chat with Leif and maybe ask him if he's seen any knives on the ground that maybe he could pick up, and if he could teach him how to throw them. He'd really love to learn how to a new skill of projectile weaponry.
He can throw a spear, of course, but he's got one spear.
He'd like a couple more new things.
Fair enough. Cool.
Yeah. But, and he's always happy to listen. He's a listener.
Cool. Tarquin. Next little while.
Look, if he feels like people have gone away, he's going to go to sleep.
Okay.
Just going to sleep down.
Cool. And lastly, Gray.
Gray is currently unable to form words. He's a little bit. He's just all of a dither. He doesn't know what to do. He's just kind of frozen in like fear and ecstasy. He doesn't know. He's willing to be guided.
Excellent. Okay.
Sorry, I forgot to say, Mithan and Leif would express concern for Etienne, of course, and investigate Etienne to make sure he's okay.
Sure.
We noticed. Thanks.
Sorry.
Cool. So to play all of that out and obviously jump in at any time, and I would like to zero in the spotlight in the seconds to what a bit of dialogue perhaps between Keros and Gray. We'll come to that in a second. So maybe those two players can do some thinking of what that might look and sound like. Nathaniel, you shimmy on down the rope. You put some more logs on the fire and stoke it up a bit. You give it a bit of time, obviously, until it's safe. You climb back up and are molested. Clearly, whatever it is that Pashket and Silsi did, the horrible things that have assaulted you this night don't seem to be coming back anytime soon. Those that thanked both Pashket and Silsi, your guides acknowledge, and they're very deferential. Oh, yes, of course. Orgiana, she gives us power. She smiles on us this night. We only have thanks. We only have the ability to do what we do thanks to Orgiana, our mistress of the dark, and they're very deferential. They are concerned about Etienne. You check with Etienne. A number of people check with him and check his general demeanor and his pulse. He suffered a pretty hard knock. Miraculously, if you remember the combat, he bounced off, I think it was Gray basically, and that saved him from actually tumbling all the way off the wall. And had that happened, I don't know quite how we would have played that, because I don't know if that was actually survivable. So just as well, Etienne made that roll. Others looking around and generally kind of coming to terms with things. A bit of time passes, and Pashket suggests once some time passes that you sleep for whatever you can for the remainder of the night. It's going to be a very uncomfortable night, bitten by mosquitoes, etc. As you have. Yes, you're wearing not one but two versions of insect repellent, but still these things occasionally do bite. And you're sleeping on a 6 foot wide, so, wide-ish, but not massively wide, chunk of masonry in the middle of a stinking, horrendous jungle. So there are probably more comfortable places to sleep. But characters generally bed down and make themselves as comfortable as they can. But perhaps before we switch off the lights, can we turn our attention to the dialogue between both Grey and Keros? Maybe we can hear how that conversation might go.
So Keros would be very nervous yet calm. I think since she died, thanks GM, and came back, life's short, and normally something that would fluster her doesn't really anymore. And her love did slip out, and I guess she'd be calmly but nervously looking to see if that's reciprocated.
Yeah, I think Grey would mumble his way through reciprocating that. He would say, "Yes, I will. I follow you everywhere. You are mine. You are mine. Thank you." And then he would just be too shy to really say that. He'd just be, even though he's covered in blood, he'd be even redder if it's hot. And you just look at his shoes.
Oh, cute.
Smile.
So I think Keros, being bold, would ask if he would like to be front spoon on the
Goodness.
on the masonry. Yeah, do you know what? She died. She's a changed woman, and if he'd like to be front spoon, she'd like to be back spoon, and make sure that he's safe and looked after. And yeah, I mean, it's all quite innocent. I mean, there was a bit of consensual good touching, obviously, just to make sure he wasn't bleeding from somewhere we didn't know. But yeah, if he would like to be front spoon, she'd be happy to be back spoon, and looking forward to regaining some power points, and might rub his forehead in a clockwise round and say, "There, little lamb."
Gray doesn't really know. I don't even know if he knows spoon, so he wouldn't really know what that is. But he'd just say yes anyway. He'd be happy to go with whatever, and he'll just follow her lead. He doesn't know what he's doing. He would
Neither does she.
lie there as stiff as a board and just kind of like exist while trying not to breathe too much.
The flashes of young love.
Excellent. There's a round of applause from all concerned.
Now I would like to retch over the wall.
Everybody make a self-discipline check, please. Excellent, superb, lovely. And bearing in mind this is a family show, and of course we would of course fade to black. Does the front spoon and back spooning go anything further than just having a cuddle, or is that where it begins and ends for tonight?
Where it's just
family show.
Yeah, for Keros, it's just that connection and that realization and that feeling. We've all had it in the pit of our tummies. Actually, she really, really likes this creature, and yeah, she just wants to be supportive and support him through the night and regain some power points as well. So she'll be looking to sleep.
Very good. Okay. Excellent. Thank you, folks. So look, that is essentially what happens, and you do sleep, and You wake the next morning to the filth and the slime of the Ala Meng. It is, by your reckoning, unless your dates are well and truly off, it's the 14th. Again, today. It's hot, it's sticky, it's absolutely horrendously humid. But even though this is a rainforest, you've had very, very little rain, and today is no exception. It would be well and truly in excess of the 40s in terms of the heat. It's cloudy, but there's only a breath of air. There's the air and the water in the air kind of sticks to you all. A couple of things happen on the first light of day. The first is that Etienne, you come to, and we'll come to Etienne in a second. The second is, I'd like everybody, please, to make a disease check. Starting with, we are starting with the order we went through before. So Etienne, Neathanol, Leif, Mithan to begin with. So Etienne, can you please now this is just to absolutely stress, if I haven't already. Yes, I'm aware that you're wearing two, not one, but two layers of different insect repellent, and absolutely it does seem to work. But still, I would like a disease check. So Etienne and the ethanol first up, please.
Etienne rolls 56. And this is disease, is it?
Correct.
He's plus 70 against disease.
Cool. And the ethanol?
Rolls 31. And she is a plus 103.
Cool. Thank you. Moving down my list. Can we have Leif and Mithan next?
Sure. Leif rolls an 88.
Okay.
And he's plus 94.
Goodness. And Mithan?
And Mithan rolls a 77. She's plus 33.
Okay, cool. Next on my list, the next two down are Keros and Demos. Firstly, Keros.
Ooh, Karos rolled 100 and she's plus 27.
Wow. Nice one on the 100. Okay, cool. And Demos?
Demos has rolled a 68 and he's plus 35.
Goodness me. And then last two, Tarquin and Grey, please. Hello, Tarquin.
He rolled 86 and his disease resistance is a measly 24. How you get to 100 is beyond his comprehension. Yeah.
Wow. And lastly, Grey, please.
Gray's rolled a 93 and he is plus 72.
Wow. So amazingly, you can hear the flies and the insects, and you can see on screen the terrain that you're in. That would be a very fair representation. You've by the river, of course, but a very fair representation of what you're experiencing. But this repellent and also some amazing rolls, you wake, you brush the insects off you, etc. Etienne, you wake. Any actions from you?
Yes. Etienne splutters awake suddenly, and just goes immediately into. Well, you're quite used to him, sort of, kind of quoting and ranting away and strange tones and sort of a melodic voice, but he says he comes through throwing his arms up into the air, saying, "She comes in a dream. Her words clear as a bell. It is time. I am here. She may come in a whisper so loud she can deafen you, or shout so quiet you strain to hear. She appears in the waves of the ocean or the face of a moon, a red goddess, a dove, a rose, a swan. The goddess has never been lost. It's just for some they've forgotten how to find her." And he's ranting like this, and then he sort of comes to, and then looks around and says, "Friends, friends, a message from my lady. Gather round."
People gather around.
Gather around.
She is trying to speak to me. I heard a beautiful sound out of the blackness. It was like ringing sweet bells, laughter and music, and suddenly there was a light and a voice in my head. The voice I've heard many times before. She is trying to tell us that the gods, they are trying to get through. And he looks over to Pashket and says, "You're God too, friend. They don't know what's coming. None of them. Perhaps they see the end, but they cannot see." Her voice came and went. I could hear some words, some were lost. It was like she was trying to force through, but couldn't quite, and I was only catching glimpses and hearing a few words. She was saying that she cannot see. They cannot, the gods, they cannot see us here. Their reach weakens. Their power and the bond with their faithful is fading. They've done what they can, they do what they can, but barely. The gods, they came in the North Sea to save your friends. You friends. She came among the many to save you. But now they're too weak. They're shadows at the roadside. The companions, I assume she means you. We're close. Too close. Something's blocking it. Blocking the gods. Our faith, friends, must not falter. We must hold fast. My lady, she fears the termination. The gods fear the termination. It whispers the end for all of the gods and for us. We must prevail. We must prevail, friends. There is nothing more important that you will do in your life, none of you, than what we will do in the days to come. Her words were indistinct, but she said, and I will quote my lady, she said, "Look," and then there were some words, "Your sign for me." I lost some other words. "The Moss Road. Seek wisely. You find powerful gear of war to aid. Facing the horrors, you must triumph. For me, my knight, for all, for everything." And then she was gone. The key phrase here, "Look, your sign for me, the Moss Road." We're here to find powerful gear of war, but what do we think? Look, your sign for me, the Moss Road. The words in there are missing. Look, gap, your sign for me, the Moss Road. The sign of my goddess is a dove, a red goddess. The moon, a rose or a swan. Remember these: a red goddess, a dove, a rose, a swan. Remember those. If you see trace of any of these things in the days ahead, is this what she means? I don't know. Any other interpretations? We fear the termination. It whispers our ends, even for us, all ends. You must not. Look, your sign for me, the Moss Road. Seek wisely. You find powerful gear of war to aid the facing horrors. You must triumph for me, my knight for all, for everything. I'll paste that in full in the chat. The Moss Road, obviously, I think we're on, correct?
Sounds right.
We think we know what we're looking for in terms of a powerful gear of war, we think,
Correct.
maybe. What the bit I don't understand is look your sign for me, the Moss Road. I don't know whether that's her sign. Your sign for me would be the Swan. But there are other symbols, as I've just told you: a red goddess, a dove, a rose. Just bear those in mind as we go forward.
Yeah.
Any other interpretation of that?
No.
No,
Well recounted.
No, sounds good.
Anyway, he's pretty. His eyes wide. He's half raving. He's obviously not well, but he's had some revelation as well. So he's kind of thrashing about a bit and sweating and kind of calling out words of worship and generally praising the heavens.
Or he's very well.
Okay. He's what?
Or he's very well.
Very well. Well, no, he's not that well.
Yeah.
How many hits does he have, actually?
He is sitting on. He would have healed 8 overnight. He's on 114 out of his usual 136.
Not too bad, then.
Mithan will offer him healing.
Oh, thanks, Mithan.
Is that a yes?
Yeah, Etienne will offer Mithan blessings.
Oh. Thanks. Bit of a derivative sniff. She's improving.
Quite a lot of loving and going on here, team.
It was love from Nathania. She would prepare, wave, and call out and touch him, like as little as possible, and roll a 73.
Spell goes off. What happens?
Just rolling 3d10 worth of hits. 14.
You're on 128, Etienne.
Lovely. Thanks very much.
So you feeling good enough, or one more?
Is this PowerPoints?
Yes.
And at what time of day is it? We've slept already, haven't we?
You've slept,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, then maybe hold on to those, see how the day goes. Huh?
Okay.
All right.
Cool. Thanks.
Any, sorry?
No, sorry. I was just going to say lots to think about there.
Yeah.
So
I think that we'd talk as we walked, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, that was his interpretation, is that we're looking for, it would seem to say that we're looking out for a sign.
Okay. So,
By any other interpretations, shout out.
okay. So, any particular reaction to that, or anything I should know as you kind of gather yourselves, collect your bits and bobs, come down the wall, and scramble back onto the now very familiar River Road? Anything I should know about? Going once, going twice.
Would want to ask the guides if the Moss Road means anything to them.
I mean, firstly, they're very deferential to Etienne. Pashket comes to you and bows his head and says, "Sir, you are a man of faith. Your gods are not my gods. We believe in the true God, but you are clearly a man of faith." You can almost see him wanting to insert the word misguided faith, but he doesn't because he's polite. What do you speak of? The end and a termination and fearful gods. The gods can't fear. Orgiana, Lady of the Night, she doesn't fear anything.
Friend, these are desperate times. This mission that we're on, it's not one of seeking adventure. We're here to protect all that we know and love, and that goes for the gods, through to kings, through to the lowliest people in the order in which we live in. Everything is at stake. Everything. Including, I fear to say, the gods themselves. I know, sir, you don't believe in my faith, but my goddess is one of many god and goddesses. And some of them, they work together. And I believe that your god and my goddess, your goddess and my goddess, they're working together. They're part of the same group, and they have common aims, and that's why we've been brought together. My powers, I've heard something of yours while I was out unconscious, and it seems to me we have similar arts. They're all coming from the same place, by and large. We have different beliefs, but we have the same aims. But what we're embarked on here is to save the gods. She is telling me that the gods are having difficulty looking down on us, guiding us as we get closer and closer to the Terek Nev city. Something very dark is happening there, and we have to stop it. And that's what this group is here to do. And I'm very glad you've come along, and I'm very glad we have people with us to guide us who are of similar minds and have great faith.
So you're not treasure hunters then?
Far from it. No, we're here. We're here, as I say, we're here on a sacred mission for the good of the world.
Could you give me an influence roll, a charm, or a something, just tied up with that last statement, please?
Yeah. 14.
Cool. And his bonus?
83.
Very good. So he's not fully convincing, but nor is it a failure. And something about these three that you have been traveling with, your guides. Shket, the leader, Silsi, and the utterly terrified Carpenter Tahoe. They talk amongst themselves, and you're assuming it's in Ureti, their language, after this. And from this moment, something changes about their demeanor. They've always been friendly and polite, deferential. But Etienne's words and his comments about why you're here seems to have moved them. And on the road later that day, it's Pashket, it's Silsi that just happens to let slip. It happens to be Etienne that he's chatting to. Etienne's quite outgoing, and so is Silsi. And later that day, Silsi just happens to clap Etienne on the arm and just say, "Good, you people are good. We thought, like all the others, you were coming here to steal from us, to rob our graves, to upset the resting places of our ancestors, to defile the memories of our people. But you are good people. You are coming here for the right reasons. We like you."
Etienne will nod at him and reiterate that he's encouraged and relieved to have such good people as guides with such strong faith, and he feels he's amongst friends and allies, and together we will overcome whatever lies in our path.
Excellent. Any other actions? Sorry. Go.
I didn't say anything.
So someone was about to. No. Going once. Going twice. Okay. So you continue walking, and you continue walking down the river road. The now very familiar river road. Away from that strange, haunted, terrible arch that you were on last night. The going is comparatively easy. There's actually some sunlight coming through, which is a little bit unusual. And you're actually feeling quite good about things until you get to, up on screen, you turn a corner and you're confronted with water. The river road's gone. It's flooded. It appears as though the river that you're following down has burst its banks or something, and it's pushed its way out into the swamp, and the river road has completely and utterly disappeared. And you hear Silsi and Pashket curse and talk amongst themselves and look around, and finally they decide, and they say, please, we have no alternative, follow us. And they begin walking away from the road, away from the safety of this road, into the filth and the mire and the actual swamp and the slime of the Ala Meng. And it's pretty horrible going. On the river road, you are comparatively clean. You know, you're walking on that, right? And after not very long, you're wading through slime and water and mud. You can see that image there. You know, you put a foot into it and your foot goes down. It comes out reeking and brown and filthy. The smell is terrible. But you push on. And after walking, and it takes you a long way, it takes you a long time, and you don't go very far. The going is so slow, and the terrain is so unpleasant. But you eventually come to a point where you see out in front of you, there's almost like a lagoon, and there's just more and more and more water. There is, however, one possible route, and you'll all see it pretty much at the same time. It's this. So you've come around here, you've walked down this way, and the water, the swamp, has encroached out here, and it's continued on that way. But there's a massive fallen tree. You can see it on screen. Huge, several 100-foot long. And it seems to be an adequate bridge, an adequate way to make your way across. After some discussion, Pashket and Silsi turn to you and suggest they have a solution, and that is to create a kind of a crude kind of pulley with the rope. They've got enough rope, and send the rope with your very, very heavy packs. You may recall you're carrying many days' food and water and other supplies through the branches, and basically pull that over. And then each one of you once the gear is on the far side, so you're on this side here, you'll need to get across. How you get across is entirely up to you. If you decide to walk across, it would be considered a hard maneuver, not an all or nothing. So if you fail, you don't necessarily end up in the water, but you have to complete 100%. Silsey heads across, and he's on the other side. How do you each plan to get across this? What's your approach? The distance, I guess that's a logical question. The distance from here to there is 80 foot.
So can you just go through what the maneuvers are again? Sorry.
There's only one maneuver. To walk
Yep.
to walk across is a hard maneuver to keep your balance because it's wet and slippery and slimy. It's not an all or nothing, so it's not like you either succeed or fail. But just to explain, and this might be a good time to bring up this here. So this chart hopefully will look familiar. On some maneuvers, there is an all or nothing chance. So you have, for example, a 30% chance of succeeding or failing. And if you roll 30 or under, your activity, whatever it is successful. That's not what we're doing here. You need to get up to 100% to get across successfully. You can still fail. So there's a failure to act, there's a fall down result, there's a fall down and sprain ankle result, there's a fall down and break arm result, there's a fall down and break other things result if you roll poorly, and you may fall down and end up actually in the water. But again, you've typically got to roll, negative 201 down. What you've got to do is get these increments to equal 100, and each one of you are successfully across this log. How you choose to do that, entirely up to you.
Can I check, Chris, from a technical perspective? So Tarquin has a superior rope. It will reach this distance. Can they tie it to one end of this bridge and then hook the packs onto it and essentially shimmy them over so we don't have to worry about them at all? Is that a doable proposition?
That's exactly what I just said. So that's been done. So the packs are over.
Okay. So my fault.
That's all right. No worries. So you are unencumbered, other than any armor, etc., that you're wearing. Your packs are on the other side, but you yourselves have to get over.
So there's a rope going over, so we could rope ourselves to that rope.
You could.
Yep. So there's a safety, and so if we fall off, we're not going to fall too far. Yep. I'd recommend that we have at least one person casting fly on themselves who can go and rescue someone who gets into strife, and I wonder if that would be Kyros, because it might be difficult for her to do maneuvers with one arm, that sort of thing. Is that right, Kyros?
If you're
talking Kyros, I can't hear you. I can see you going on and off mute, but yeah.
Have we lost Keros?
We may.
Etienne's not really keen on going over with armor. He's a bit of a wearing kind of a lot of metal. So yeah,
There's one hand. Does he want a spell on him as well?
Maybe. Yeah, that would probably be wise, because if he goes in the water, it's not good.
Yeah, Leif can cast fly on him, and he could be a second helper.
Can you hear me?
Sure.
Yes.
Oh, phew. Can we hold on to the rope that's taken the packs across, can we hold on to it like above us? Like,
That,
you know, we're
it's assumed you're doing. Sorry, I should have said it's assumed you're doing that, and that's still a hard maneuver to do that to get across.
okay. Yes, Keros is happy to cast fly and assist. Yep.
So Leif and Mithan will attempt. Leif will cast fly on Etienne, if that's acceptable.
Yeah, he'd love that.
Yep. So he'll prepare and wave and blah 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 blah. And cast fly. 29.
Success.
Cool. Third level spell. And here's 4 minus 3. And yeah, Leif would want to rope himself to the other rope.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'll go across with the just trying to do the hard maneuvers.
Cool.
Well, a series of hard maneuvers, probably.
Cool. Give me the first hard maneuver, please.
41.
For one, what's his moving and armor skill or his agility if he doesn't wear armor?
12.
It's 12. Cool. 53. That's not a failure. That's 20%. So you don't make much progress, Leif. But yep. You continue. Roll again, please.
+18.
Plus 12. Again, not great. You're at 30% now. And again, taking it very
62.
cautiously. Sorry, 62.
62.
That was good. You're a bit more confidence the next 10 seconds, and you're about 70% of the way across.
Cool. 43.
You're nearly there, Leif. You've just got about 10% more to go, and you're across.
Ooh, he rolled an 8.
An 8.
Does that get him
It's not a
10%?
failure. It's not a failure. Gets him 5. Almost at the other side. He's just about to step onto terra firma, or reasonably terra firma. Give me one last roll, please, Leif.
11. Yeah, I got all the bad rolls out of the way for everyone else.
There you go. Leif, I mean, you didn't exactly bound across there. You took it nice and slowly. You kind of inched your way across very cautiously. But you, Etienne, and Silsi are now on the other side. Who's next?
Does anyone need fly cast on them?
We're happy to walk
Happy-
across.
Yeah. Do you want to go next then?
Sure.
Tarquin, give me a roll.
Yep, sorry, I've just got to... There we go. My computer.
Rope yourself to the rope.
Absolutely, yeah. Tie myself up, minimize chance of damage. Packs across. $27.
27 plus, what's your moving and armor skill, please?
Alright. How do I find this? Chris, is it my movement skill?
So it'll be, what's he's wearing soft leather, I think, so his soft leather skill.
Reinforced leather, yeah.
Oh.
So his movement skill is 68. Which seems huge.
No, that doesn't seem right.
Should be looking at my sheet, mate. Sorry.
It's all right.
The base movement is 68. His encumbrance is -10, although presumably he doesn't have that. And his STR is 8, which gives him 68.
So it's a skill. He's wearing soft leather.
Oh, my apologies, it's 20.
20. That sounds right. Cool. Here you go. Very good. 47. Yeah, your slow start for Tarquin too. 20% of the way across. Keep going, please.
83, that's a bit better.
83. There you go. You're nearly there, Tarquin. Something about nearly crossing this water. You're fine. You could have basically danced your way over most of it. Last 10%, please.
79.
79. You're done. Tarquin, you're fine. You get across, no problem at all. You're probably grinning to yourself about almost how easy that was.
Can't help himself, he probably is.
Who's next?
Greg can go, or Demos.
Your call?
Greg?
Sure.
Cool.
Be
He got a
careful.
Thank you. He got a 68.
Cool. And what's his... He doesn't wear armor.
No.
What's his agility, please?
His agility is plus 20.
Plus to goodness. Okay.
He's quick on his feet.
He is. You're 60% of the way across.
Ooh.
Already. Another one.
All right. Cross your fingers. 61.
61. Total of 81.
Yep.
That's it. Great. That was easy for you. You basically close your eye. You almost... Some might say you might be showing off in front of somebody special, but I wouldn't possibly comment, of course. But you get across very easily, and not a chance of slipping. You're fine.
Excellent.
Who's next?
Demos, good go.
Sure.
He's a bit nervous, but he's, he'll do it.
Yeah, sure.
All right, he's gonna roll. He got an 85.
Wow. What's his... Now, he reads rigid leather. So what's his skill with rigid leather, please?
Rigid leather skill is 0.
0. Okay. So 85 it is. Stands as is. You're halfway across, Demos.
Cool. He's got plus 12 for agility, too.
No. We just use the rigid leather.
Okay, cool. Cool. Okay, you'll have another go.
Yep.
48.
48. Not a fumble. You're at 70% there, Demos.
Oh, gosh. Come on, Demos. 52.
52. You're nearly there. You're nearly on the other side. It's so close. You can see the others. Just about. One more step or two should do it.
Okay. 57.
57. Demos, you're fine. You're across.
Thank you.
Who's next?
Mithan can go.
Mm-hmm.
She's roping herself on everything. Oh, 82. Now, I'm a bit confused because she's wearing soft leather as well, and so the skill is at plus 0, but her bonuses add to way over that.
Yep.
So I put plus 0 because it says the minimum maneuver modification is 0.
That's it.
Okay.
So plus 0. So what was the roll, please?
Oh, sorry, 82.
50%, Method.
Cool. 54.
54. Nearly there. 70%. Hopefully last roll for Method.
45.
45. You're done. Mython, you're across. Who's next?
Niathril.
Sure thing.
She'll ready. I don't know if she needs to ready an instantaneous spell, but anyway, she's got that up her sleeve if she needs to.
Mm-hmm.
63.
63 plus her agility.
35.
Wow. Mark all these down, by the way. These are all successful hard maneuvers, so do mark them down. Each one. 70%. She's nearly there. She's very, very light on her feet. Next roll, please.
91.
Goodness me. Nathaniel, you're fine. You dance across. Basically, you go across blindfolded. All fine. Remaining on the other side is Keros, Pashket, and Tahoe. Keros.
Keros is going to fly, please.
Give me a roll.
Sure thing.
And Niathan will start preparing too.
Cool.
Chris.
33.
It's 9:15, Chris.
Yeah, no, I've got it. Thank you. I've just got a point I'm keen to get up to. Okay. No, I got it. Success. Nobody fell on the drink. That's a shame. Or good, depending on your point of view. The last remaining, Pashket. Not great. He slips, but he recovers. And the carpenter is okay. You all managed to trudge your way across this log. You go round this nasty, stinking, reeking water, and very soon you're back on to, after trudging through that, onto the river road. A roll, please. And you're now down by the water again, and you begin, as you have been previously in the last few days, of scouring the water banks without success for a watercraft. Could someone give me one brave person, if you're feeling very lucky? Give me a roll, please.
It's you, Carius. Great.
So I accidentally rolled a 57.
57? 57. Let's have a look.
It's Mars, right?
Oh, God, yes.
Oh, good.
57. 50. Oh! Interesting. So, you're on, not pretty much, I mean, on exactly the stretch of road here, and you veered off the river, and you can hear the river off to the side, only some 20 or 30 foot away. And there's a shout from Silsi. Come, look. And there, wedged into several trees and kind of on like not a sandbank, but a mud bank, is a
speedboat.
What? Sorry.
All right, Carol.
Is a vessel. It's not in great shape, but it's at least reasonably intact. It's 25 foot long, and it appears to have been a sailboat, from what you can see. And remarkably, 250 or so years later, you're guessing, the mast is still standing. There are three quite badly rusted oarlocks on either side of the boat. The hull is rotting, or it has some rot in it for sure, and the sail is mostly in tatters, but perhaps repairable. And this is the moment where suddenly all eyes at least from your two guides, at least, turn to your carpenter, Tahoe. And he comes up and he surveys this vessel. And he does this thing, if anybody's familiar with people who work in trades or crafts, where he looks at it, puts his head on one side, puts his hand here and goes, And I'd like another brave person, please, to roll a 1d5.
No one's brave. I'll roll it.
1d5.
Okay, ready?
Mm-hmm.
4.
4. Tahoe pauses and looks at it and says something. You don't understand the language. Some of you don't understand. He's speaking. Well, none of you understand M.E.R.P. But it's translated back to you. And Pashket turns to you all and says, Tahoe believes he can get this boat worthy for sail in 4 days. He can patch up the hull and with your assistance and others' assistance, mend the sail, mistress and masters, and he thinks we'll need to wedge it off the mud bank that's here and prise it out of those trees and fix that there, but he thinks he can get it fixed in 4 days. What do you think, sirs, ladies, mistresses? Do we wait 4 whole days? Or do we push on?
Well, we need a boat, don't we?
You do need a boat. You need a boat. Yes. And this seems to be a good boat.
This is a great choice. Yeah, we should do this.
Thing is, we've got to hang on 4 days.
That is correct.
Can we
Let's
camp
walk
on the
on.
boat? Can we ask him? Can we set up like spikes and a fire and camp on the boat?
Yes. Once the hull is mended, and yes, and that will be more defensible.
I've forgotten what our allowance was for food allowance, time allowance for finding a boat. This will eat into that. Or we reclaim any time now by faster travel up the river, down the river.
Correct.
Maybe.
Correct.
Yeah,
And
So
so
we
don't
sort
we
of
need a
recoup
boat?
that.
As Graham says, whatever happens, we need a boat to get over to Terranev, right? So.
Yep.
It looks like a win all
Last
round.
thing is if we can, for 4 days or 4 nights, or until the boat is ready for defensibility, is there a place to fortify ourselves for at least 1 night, 2 nights in the vicinity?
There is nowhere here. We would have to make do on the boat itself. You started off, by the way, at 22 days of food each.
Chris, can you show us the kind of a map? So what I'm trying to figure out is, can we defend our position on the boat?
I don't have a map readied. I could sketch it out, but I'll sketch it out verbally. You're in a stretch of river with kind of quite a large bend. You think that you'll have 1 night, which could be a bit dodgy. 2 nights. By the end of 2 nights, Tahoe thinks that he'll be able to have at least fixed the hull, and by that stage you'll be able to push the boat into the water. And for the remaining time, for the remaining 2 nights, you'd actually be out in the water and a lot more defensible out in the water.
And does anyone have spells that might help him? Is the only other question I have.
Is the bend in the river such that it could be defend? Is it a tight bend?
Yeah, reasonably tight.
So we could defend one. use the meander as a, 3 sides of a defensible position. I know they swim, but they might not all swim.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I reckon we do that then. I mean, wherever we sleep out, it's going to be a problem anyway, isn't it? It's not like it's going to be any different.
Totally agree with Graham.
Yeah.
So I reckon we just set up a couple of fires and go crazy on the firewood. I don't know what else we've got really. I mean, if we've got time that we could kind of put up some sort of barricades of a sort, I suppose.
Like ice walls?
Like them. Or even, just using timber and stuff. I don't know. I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know what's possible really in that time, but if rather than just twiddling our thumbs.
Yeah. Well, your carpenter will be busy fixing the boat, but others could be doing other things.
Wood is around, Chris. Can we just make a huge pile of wood and then just light it? We've got loads of oil. Is there enough wood that we can just pile it up in a way that sort of
Sure, but
I presume is an isthmus?
you would definitely use all your oil up.
Yeah, I mean, we will light fires at night, but I'm just thinking about, we'll only use it when we need it. I'm just talking about whether we can make our position more defensible just by bringing logs over and,
Yep.
give ourselves a slide. Well, we'll wait for the map, or either, and we'll have a look at what we can do.
All right. But the intention is that you're going to stay with this boat, or you're going to wait for it to be fixed.
Etienne will just ask the guide, by taking a boat, how much quicker will it be to get to the city?
Well, it would normally be 5 days to travel down the river road, says Pashket. We would definitely cut that short by at least a day, perhaps even a day and a half, by taking the boat.
So it's worth doing because we've got to find a boat anyway. Okay.
Yep. There we go. That's where we're going to end it. And I would say, the GM would definitely like to give a very handy roll from Gray. Thank you for finding the boat. That is handy. And that's where we're going to end it for tonight. Viewers and listeners, just a reminder that this will be the last episode for a bit, because there'll be a bit of a backlog until the other episodes are edited and put together. That's it for tonight, guys.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was fun.
Thank you. Yep.
Thanks, Chris.
I think we should name the boat the Red Goddess Moon River Swan Rose.
I like it.
Putting all the names of your goddess in to be our symbol.
Got a ring to it.